Michigan, fighting Yedidiah Judan-Yuda. Yuda's record 1-6. Morefield has not fought as a professional. Ducky Dietz, a long-time Detroit area boxer who's fighting into his 50s, really. He still boxes in the gym, is working with Morefield, and even though we haven't seen this youngster or heard much about him, Ducky Dietz, I respect his opinion, says he's a tough kid.
There you see Morefield on the left side, and he is very, very large through the upper body, has been involved in weights and bodybuilding to a degree through his teen years, and now has turned to the ring and given that up. But you can see, look at the definition across the shoulders and the pectoral muscles through the upper body. He should have some reasonable power, but you always wonder, Jim, about weightlifters and bodybuilders in particular, because with the bulk they create in their bodies, they slow down a lot. It's for show, and it's not. They're not very fast usually, so we'll watch for that.
We'll also be watching as to how Yedidiah Judan-Yuda fights Morefield, because they have said that Morefield is a guy that likes to mix it up in the gymnasium. He likes to get involved, and he likes a guy to fight. He does not want to have to run after somebody. There you see Philip Morefield coming in right now. He will be giving away 3 inches of reach to Judan-Yuda. But at this point, with Morefield being a kid that likes to fight, likes to get inside and mix it up, I don't think the reach advantage of Yuda would make much difference.
Well, you see his face as he in that shot just a moment ago as he made his way out of the dressing room, now into the ring, and he's got some backers here. There's no doubt about that. There you see him trying to show a little bit of speed. Big smile on his face. He's into it. There's no question about that. He brought some friends along, but he's got, I guess, that classic angular jaw of the brawler, if you will, Jim. And I think he's the kind of guy that will come inside on you, and you're going to earn it against this kind of a fellow. It's just almost the attitude painted on his face and in his visage.
You can take a look there at Yedidiah Judan-Yuda. He is out of Chicago, Illinois. Once again, his record not very impressive at all. He's had 7 professional bouts, and he has won just 1 of them. So we will have to wait and see. He looks like he's a fairly well-muscled fighter. He looks like he's in fairly decent shape just looking at him. But again, you don't know until that bell rings and they start throwing leather.
Well, you know, so many times you get into a professional debut situation, and particularly with a person that hasn't had that much amateur experience, and they come in, they're all pumped up, and the biggest mistake they make is trying to end it in 14 seconds to impress their buddies who are yelling as they came out of the dressing room in the first place. Obviously, that's in the long pull. That's usually a mistake. So we'll see if Morefield falls for that in his own attitude and approach to this.
You take a look in the corner of Morefield. There's Ducky Dietz, and the guy with the long beard is a guy by the name of Don Thibodeau. He used to be with Manuel Stewart and Thomas Hearns. He is now in the corner of Philip Morefield. Right now, let's go to the ring announcer, who is Jim Ingram, and get the official announcements for the opening bout of this card.
Good evening, ladies. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another evening of Light Beer Little Caesars Thursday night boxing. All of tonight's bouts are under the auspices of the Michigan State Board of Athletic Control, Dr. Stuart Kirschenbaum, chairperson. Our officials for this evening's contest are as follows. Our judges are Nate McAlpin, Ken Offit, and Chuck McHenry. Our timekeeper, William Hunter Sr., counting for the knockdown, William Hunter Jr. Our ringside officials in attendance, ringside physicians, Dr. Richard Rasmussen and Dr. Edward Knight. Our referee, the third man in the ring at this time, won't you welcome, please, Mr. Bobby Watson. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the first contest of the evening, 4 rounds of boxing in the middleweight division. Introducing first in the blue corner, wearing red trunks with red trim. His professional record, 1 victory, 6 losses at 166 pounds. Here's Yedidiah Judan-Yuda. His worthy opponent in the red corner, wearing red trunks with white trim. Making his professional debut as a middleweight this evening, ladies and gentlemen, at 163 pounds from Detroit, Michigan, here is Philip Morefield. 4 rounds of boxing in the middleweight division.
As the fighters get their instructions, we will tell you that Philip Morefield, making his professional debut, has his hands full with Yedidiah Judan-Yuda. The only reason you say that is because Morefield has not had a professional bout. And with a guy with 7 bouts experience, even though the record is 1-6, you've got to believe that that is an advantage for Yuda.
It's a different world. The step up is one of the longest steps you'll take in sport, from amateur or never having a professional experience at any level. Football, basketball, I don't care what it is. The first time you step into that arena and do it in earnest, it's a different world. It takes a little bit of time to get a reading on what's exactly happening with you. And if Morefield falls into that trap as well as trying to start a little bit too fast, you might be in trouble. Now we're going to take a look at a young fighter from Central.
Scheduled for 4, pair of middleweights. Wild overhand right from Yuda off the top of the head of Morefield. Another right hand landed from Yuda. Left jab from Yuda, that landed. Again, Chris, maybe that's the experience of a professional showing right there.
Well, he saw an opening right off and tagged him twice with rights to the forehead. Morefield didn't back off much, and then immediately Yuda came back with a left hand that came from the other side, and Morefield was leaning right into it. So he's fallen into 2 traps right off.
Another right hand on the forehead, and that hurt Morefield a bit. Scored big, though. Right lead from Morefield. Good left jab from Morefield.
Morefield did open with a couple of pretty good-looking left jabs before he saw those rights come at him. A little out of control, out over his toes.
Left-right combination misses. There's Morefield with the right left. The left hand landed on the forehead of Yuda. Good left to the head and a right that really hit Yuda about the underarm of the left arm, but I'll tell you what, it hurt, and then he came back with the left hand. There's a good right hand from Yuda halfway through round 1. Left-right combination. Morefield out of control, as you mentioned earlier, Chris.
Yeah, he wants to mix it up, and what he's doing when he leads with the jab, Jim, he opens his right hand up, and that opens the whole center of his defense for Yuda to come back inside. You know, when you twist your body to deliver a punch from one side, unless you got that body control.
No question about who the aggressor is here, and Morefield doing a good job of backing away from the overhand right and landed a few punches as Yuda was out of control and leaning forward.
See where his right hand is when he throws a jab? It comes back to his shoulder. It's not out in front of his body anymore, so there's no defense left. A good seasoned pro would be eating him up alive, really, because he'd be counter-punching through that and really punishing Morefield. Yuda's not quite up to the task, though. He has scored a couple of times.
Less than 30 seconds in round 1 of the scheduled 4-round middleweight bout.
See where that right falls back? Right over the top of the shoulder.
It's, again, a mistake of a youngster that hadn't had much experience. This is the pro debut of Morefield. There's a good left hand that landed, and that hurt Yuda. Trying to throw a right hand, it got through, but Morefield got the best of that exchange as the bell sounds, ending round 1. We follow Philip Morefield back to the corner, and it was an outstanding last 30 seconds for Philip Morefield. He hurt Yuda with a right hand.
Well, his spirit can't be questioned. He spent most of the round doing this, and that's moving forward. Now, there's the right that missed with the left as he followed it up. And you see, Morefield, as he started it through that combination, his whole body was exposed. Watch how wide his hands are. The first one in the left hand this time comes back over the shoulder. Now he's wide open, but Yuda can't answer it. Two pretty inexperienced fighters, really, and Morefield gets away with it and scores big with that left hand.
Did it save the round for him after Yuda opened up with 3 pretty good right hands, though, against Morefield?
I think it did, because after he took the 2 rights, then the left that he kind of walked into, that all occurred in the first 45 seconds. He pretty much controlled the last 2 minutes of it, and the judges are more expected, I suppose, to remember the last 2 minutes than the first minute.
The bell for round 2. Overhand right from Yuda, and it looks like Morefield's got that figured out, at least here in the early going.
Well, see, he kind of paused that left jab out there, but not as much as he did in the first. That's a nice attempted combination with some hand speed involved. That's a good sign. I heard it.
There's a left, yeah. A left hook came in and it hurt the right eye of Yuda, but Yuda comes back with an overhand right. Yuda's still hurting with the right eye. He's blinking it. Might have caught a thumb.
That's a possibility. There doesn't seem to be any cosmetic damage other than the fact that he's blinking, and it did sting him.
He's still blinking.
Just above us now. There's pretty hard to see, Jim. It's watering a bit.
Yeah, it is, and he may have a little bit of a cut on the eyelid. I don't know. It looks a little puffy. Right now, Morefield is trying to work in and end this right now because he feels he has Yuda in trouble. Now, there's no cut over the eyelid.
Well, I think we can assume that Morefield's been in more than his share, or at least a couple along the way, of those one-on-one encounters somewhere between the shop at high school and the football field out back.
Yeah, he is ready to fight. He's an aggressive youngster, and you can see that Yuda just covers up.
That's kind of a hooking uppercut left, and it scored twice in this round and hurt that right eye of Yuda twice.
Halfway through round two, a good round for Philip Morefield. No knockdowns in the fight, although Morefield looks like he's about ready to start one as the overhand right of Yuda misses. Morefield shows that he doesn't even really care much for the overhand right of Yuda anymore.
Yeah, he's solved that between rounds, certainly.
And he's just waiting inside, and you can hear the breathing, I think. You can hear the breathing, and that breathing, the heavy breathing with the mouth open, is coming from Judan-Yuda. He is, I don't think, in the greatest of shape. Good group of punches put together by Morefield in close.
Well, about half get through, and that's enough to take a toll. Yuda's hanging on right now. Bobby Watson give